The Asian American Pacific Islander Nurses Association of Nevada presents Healthy Mondays with AAPINA of Nevada. Start the week healthy and right with interesting conversations on living a healthy lifestyle. And now, your Healthy Mondays host, Dr. Mary Faye Axon Armstrong.
Magandang gabi po sa inyong lahat. Welcome to our Healthy Mondays with AAPINA of Nevada. I'm yours truly, Dr. Mary Faye Axon Armstrong, founding president of AAPINA of Nevada and professor at Roseman University College of Nursing. Thank you for joining us tonight and every Monday evening. Well, Asian and Pacific Islander American Heritage Month is a period for the duration of the month of May in the United States to recognize the contributions and influence of Asian Americans and Pacific Islander Americans to the history, culture, and achievements of the United States. In 1990, George H.W. Bush signed a bill passed by Congress to extend Asian American Heritage Week to a month. And then 2 years later, in 1992, May was officially designated as Asian Pacific American Heritage Month. And on May 1st, 2009, President Obama issued a presidential proclamation which recalls the challenges faced by Asian Americans and Pacific Islanders and celebrates their great and significant contributions to our society. Tonight, I have two notable special guests from our Clark County Community Asian American Pacific Islanders Community Commission. Commission members. So I want to welcome Ms. Margie Gonzalez, AAPI Community Council Chairwoman, and Ms. Dorinda Burnett, AAPI Community Council Commission member. So Ms. Gonzalez represents, or Margie, she wants to be called Margie, represents our Asian American community, and Ms. Dorinda represents our Pacific Islander community. Thank you both for joining me tonight. So let's start with Margie to share with us her background and history on her advocacy for the AAPI population. Welcome.
Hi, good Monday evening to everyone. Monday evening here in Las Vegas. Okay, I remember that in 2014 was actually my very first project wherein I was asked to do something, for the Asian Pacific Islander American Heritage Month. And that happened, it was at the Flamingo Library, wherein it was an evening of talents of different, coming from different Asian communities. And it was like America's Got Talent, but this one involves different communities. And the same night, we also gave out scholarships to outstanding Asian and Pacific Islander students who graduated from high school. So I remember that very well. It was a very enjoyable evening. And I am happy to do that every year. Join the community, the Asian Pacific Islander community, join them in these efforts. Coming from the Philippines, I came here in the 90s. I saw already how passionate the Asians are in really promoting and preserving their ethnic cultures. And I'd like to be a part of that. So that's why I really get engaged in activities involving the Asian community and Pacific Islander community, in joining them in this effort to enrich our culture, promote it outside of our mainland, not the mainland, our country of birth. Okay, so yep. So I'm there. I'm in. I will continue doing it as much as I can.
Thank you, at Margie, for your advocacy. I know the first time I met you, I remember Dan Santos, one of the young from our young generation of Filipinos had
Mm-hmm.
introduced me to you. And I think it was a meet and greet with one of the politicians, right?
Mm-hmm.
And we
Uh-huh.
are representative of the Asian Americans at the time.
Mm-hmm. Yes, I remember that very well. It was, I think, a Chinatown that it was held.
Yes, and thank you for your advocacy. So next is Miss Dorinda. Share with us your story about being representative for Pacific Islanders.
Well, my journey started in 1993. We moved here from Central California, three kids, my husband and I, and just like anyone else that moved to Las Vegas, we wanted to be around brown people just like us. And being native Hawaiian from birth, when we moved away from Hawaii in 86 and lived in Southern California for about 7 years, it just wasn't a good fit for us. I mean, we loved the agriculture that Central California offered, but we just missed being around Polynesians. When we moved here in 93, we raised three kids here. So now we're looking at a journey of about 27 years. During that time, because of my cultural background in Hawaii, I went to Kamehameha Schools, which is a school for Native Hawaiian children. You have to have Hawaiian blood in order to go to that school. I was introduced at a very young age in regards to cultural things. When I did that, excuse me, when I did that, it became very apparent that that is what I needed to instill and preserve within my own family. And moving to Las Vegas, opening up that cultural knowledge that I was given to the community. In 2015, I joined the Las Vegas Hawaiian Civic Club. I was in and out of the club during that time, but I joined the Las Vegas Hawaiian Civic Club. And in 2016, I became its president. At the time, the club was fractured. It now is thriving. It was thriving until COVID-19 hit. But we're on solid ground in regards to what we offer our community. Las Vegas has become the ninth island in a lot of ways because Hawaii is basically the state of Hawaii is 8 islands. And there are so many people from Hawaii that move here that now Las Vegas is known as the ninth island. And the reason for the similarities is the tourism industry, the service-oriented industry is very similar. But of course, economically, it's cheaper to live here in Las Vegas than it is to live in Hawaii. Now, those of us who have family back in Hawaii, yes, we love going home. We love going to the beach and, spending time with family and eating all the delicious foods the comfort foods that we've known for all of our lives. Until you go to a grocery store and you walk in and walk out and it costs you $80 for one bag of food. Whereas here, you would walk out with a wagon full of food. That's the difference. And of course, economically, it's cheaper to live here. But what we miss is our cultural background. In doing that, I became involved in instilling our cultural background here because I feel if you keep yourself grounded culturally, you would take that culture with you wherever you live. And I've been fortunate enough to surround myself with people that have the same vision. And I brought that vision to the Asian American Pacific Islander Community Commission. I was approached by Auntie Rosita Lee, a longtime magnate here a whale, per se, here in Las Vegas. She's been here forever, knowing our community and looking forward and saying, we need you as an advocate to represent Pacific Islanders. So I've done that. And it's an exciting journey. It's one that I never thought I would be in, although my father was into political office before he died abruptly in the 70s. So it's like I'm following in his footsteps. But of course, I try to pace myself because, I don't want to die prematurely as well. So health aspects are very important. So that's what I bring to the table, and I'm excited in being here.
I'm
And
excited.
may I add something to
Sure.
Dorinda? I really commend Dorinda a lot because it's her who put up that Ho'ola Olea event when I got involved with that event, not as a member of Dorinda's organization. I didn't even know her that time. I know about her name, I heard her name, but I would always be there in that event. Either I have a booth, I was emceeing a third stage, directing a cultural fashion show. I would always be there, and it's always been a very successful annual event, and I kudos to Dorinda for that.
It
Thank
is,
you.
yeah.
Thank
It
you.
is truly a very special night because I'm looking at you with my screen here and I'm so connected with both of you. Being moving from the Philippines to Hawaii and then
Mhm.
moving here in Nevada. So Dorinda was talking about belongingness. And I was really going to ask you about the Ninth Island, but you went through and talked about the Ninth Island. And I was so excited that I could still greet people with aloha because this is the ninth
Right.
island, and then being Filipino, and I have the connection with Margie because I'm Filipino. That's my my background. So I'm truly like, we're all, the three of us are connected, and so this is a special night. Our listeners out there, if you haven't really um, caught on it yet, that we have our name, our organization that's bringing you the Healthy Mondays is Asian American Pacific Islander Nurse Association of Nevada. And so there's so many, it's rich information that we're gonna extract from Margie and Dorinda tonight. Well, I wanted to ask both of you, maybe Margie could start sharing her initiatives right now and what's going on with the with the organization or with Clark County Commission,
Okay.
API Commission.
Okay, sure. Actually, before this whole thing happened, this whole pandemic thing happened, we were already busy helping out with the census, because it is very important, because there is this thing wherein they don't want to be counted. So we would
Mhm.
like to help the Asian Pacific Islander community get out. Please be counted, and we to tell them how important it is to be counted. So we
Mhm.
had like a few kickoffs for the census. So with that one, and then in the commission, the AAPI Community Commission of Clark County, we are also right now we're still doing it. It's some kind of a research on the socioeconomic needs of the different Asian and Pacific Islander communities. So we in the report that we're trying to put together, it will include, the current population, the population of each community, the history of each community here in Clark County, and the different organization and leaders of each community. So we're still in the works in putting everything together, and hopefully it can. When we finish that, it will be the whole report will be open, announced to the world. So, and then during this pandemic, I also I also thank and really proud of that the Asian community and the Asian and Pacific Islander community are also doing their efforts, without any announcement, without any, media coverage and all that. Um, Leaders are doing their best to see how they can help. Okay. There is actually our vice chair who's from the Vietnamese community. Uh, he was so busy; they were busy giving out masks to the healthcare workers, hospitals. That's at least one thing that I know. Um, uh, I myself did several translations. I mean Tagalog translations for public officials. So, and then they would need others. So I reached out to the other members of the community who could also help provide translations in other languages like the Thai language, the Vietnamese language, to help out, to help out explain things, to our community members regarding the COVID virus, and what to do, provide them the resources what they would need, whether it's regarding unemployment, and so anything about it that would help members of our community. So this is ongoing, and so even without the hurrahs and the cameras or whatever, they are doing this, and I'm so proud of the Asian and Pacific Islander community for really being out there and helping, doing whatever they can.
I thank you for mentioning, Margie, about the census, because last Monday I have ACDC, the Asian Community Development Council. Eric Chang and Y
Mhm.
Solano and Ann Tui, they joined me last Monday, and they talk about the resources and community services that ACDC is providing to our community. And so I think that's how we got connected with the
Yeah.
ACDC
Yes.
and OC. I
Yes.
think it's OCA as well, right?
Yeah, that time that we were in that event.
Yes.
Yes.
And then thank you for mentioning that. And Dorinda, I wanted to see what are the initiatives that's happening for the Pacific Islander population.
Well, actually, ironically, last night I attended a Zoom conference, and it was a national conference. I was asked to join an NHPI, Native Hawaiian Pacific Islander COVID-19 Community Task Force. It's done nationally. And what they're doing right now, it started back mid-April, so it's about 2 weeks old. And it is looking at how we can help our communities keep it culturally based, because, as Margie mentioned, our communities, we tend to allow things to happen to us instead of being proactive and taking the lead of getting it done. We see it in census. That's why we're undercounted. And all of that, we need to huli the system or change it and the only way we can change that is by educating our communities and telling them in a unified voice is where we matter. So you may not agree with everything I say, but in a unified voice, we can say, yes, we want to be counted. And if I represent, like, Native Hawaiians and Pacific Islanders here, if I represent a good 65,000 of us here, that's a big voice. So it's my kuleana, my responsibility to be as pono, which is straightforward and honest, do it with integrity, to represent us and be an advocate and try and represent every single need. Okay. Yes, I can be successful, or no, I can't be. And yes, we may agree, or no, we may not. It doesn't matter. But as a unified voice, we matter. And that's the main purpose. So with this NHPI Community Commission, it's a good fit to, first of all, have a voice. Second, to represent a unified voice within the community. So that means I need to go to the churches, the organizations, the different groups, the restaurants. I was in the middle of doing all of that when COVID-19 hit. And yes, it does. Since COVID-19 has hit, it's made us all take a look at what is really our priorities. What do we need to do first for ourselves and for our ohana, our family, and then to expand those values to include the communities that we live in, because we chose to be here. It wasn't something that we made an active choice to be in Las Vegas. Mm-hmm. Now, for whatever reason, we continue to stay. For me, it's 27 years. And at one point I said, wow, we've been here a long time. So at that point is when I made a decision. Am I going to just allow the community and life to overcome my decisions, or I'm going to be proactive and make the decisions that are sound for me? And it was at that point that for me personally, I put on that hat, or like people say, those big girl panties, and just holomua, went forward with whatever goals, and listen, ho'olohe, listen to the community and see what needs they have and how I can advocate those needs within either the AAPI commission or whatever community that I tend to be a part of. And, people say, yeah, but how you get paid? You get paid in other ways. And, if your heart is in a right spot,
Yes.
Kiakua, the Lord will
Agree.
always bless you.
We're
He will
working for
always
love.
look out for you. Yes.
We're
Yes.
working for love. Yeah.
Yes, most definitely.
Yeah. And I think I'm glad you mentioned about speaking up and being proactive and going out there in the community. And I just posted on our website, we have our Facebook page for Asian American Pacific Islander Nurse Association of Nevada. And I just posted about the Asian American and Pacific Islander Heritage Month. And it says, unite our voices by speaking together. And
Yes.
tonight, I have you, Margie, to represent the Asian Americans and Dorinda to represent the Pacific Islanders. We are complete tonight.
Yeah.
Yes. Yes,
The
we are.
AAPI. And
May I may, may
go
I
ahead,
mention
Margie.
something that is actually not being looked at the moment? Okay. We've always praised, of course, our heroes now, our healthcare workers. But there is another group that we are not seeing. They're also heroes. And, the Clark County, they have acquired the services of Filipino special education teachers. They have been recruited from the Philippines since 2017. They arrived here in like groups of 100, 150, like those numbers. Now, they're supposed to be because they're not in school now because the schools are all closed. But remember, they are serving our special needs children. So it just so happened that I have three teachers living. I'm hosting three teachers in my home. Actually, these three Filipino teachers. So they are now having communication with their students, with their special needs children, students. They set up their small, tables with their laptops so that they are in touch with them. So every day they do this now. So they are what the school is forgetting is that they are at home, so they don't have all the equipment that they have in school, because everything is there. All everything that they need are in the school. Now they're doing it at home, so they will be using their own resources. So that means their own laptop, their own printer, their own and what I could provide the printer. I have that at home, so they can use it with me. I can share that. I don't have a laminating machine. They use that too, because they use a lot of visuals for special needs children. So they need to print that, and they usually it's laminated. Things like those. So this group of people, our teachers, especially, I'm talking about these special needs, the special education teachers. They are actually heroes too, that we are not actually mentioning, that they are taking care of these children while they are not in school. So it's ongoing right now.
I
um
remember the group. I remember attending a Kamayan.
uh-huh
When you're, I think that some of them attended the event
mhm,
and they
mhm.
spoke about their needs.
Yeah.
And then also their needs that the contract is ending, and then the Clark County, Nevada is recruiting new teachers. So it
Yeah.
makes more sense for them to
Mhm.
keep the existing teachers here
Yes, we
rather
were
than
able to
recruiting the
help
new
with that.
ones. Yeah.
Several groups, including myself, plus some other people that I know, we all work together to be able to make them stay here. I mean, not stay. I mean, at least extend. At least a little bit of extension. Um, so I was with another Asian leader. He's with the Asian Chamber of Commerce. He's the president. we were at Carson City, so we appealed, to the lieutenant governor. And there's some other groups like from like the NAFA and some other organizations, the Philippine Consulate General. We're like all working together, being able to help them, at least an extension, because otherwise they would have already been out of here this year. They should have been leaving this year. So that's what we conveyed to the lieutenant governor that time. I said, imagine all these special education teachers are now leaving. This year they'll be leaving, like 100 of them will be leaving, and then next year another more than 100 leaving. Now what will happen? What will happen to our children? It's more on I was talking more on the point of view of the children and the parents, not for the teachers, to be able to stay here longer. So they will lose their teachers, and you know how it is. If these special children, are already relaxed and they already trust that face, the
They
teachers.
need the consistency,
Yes, yes.
especially with their needs, and it's
Uh-huh.
just like building rapport. And
Uh-huh.
those existing teachers already built rapport with the
Yes.
children with needs. So thank you for bringing that up. I wanted to go back to Dorinda, and maybe she can share some more information or initiative that they have for Pacific Islander.
Well, where the Las Vegas Hawaiian Civic Club is where I started my platform in regards to community service, and this organization has been. This year we celebrate 30 years, so I am just. I keep saying that people laugh at me when I say this, but I'm just the latest flavor, which means that my vision because we have term limits, my vision is for 4 years. So I have two consecutive terms of 4 years, and 2020 is the end of my term. So in the past, our presidents in the past, some get burnt out. When you do community service work, like how you say, you need to be rich in other areas in your life. There needs to be a balance. If there is no balance, you get burnt out very easily. So, with that said, where do I see myself being most active when I leave my presidency? Well, one of the things and my utmost goal at that point is to be a positive mentor for the new president coming aboard. Keep the vision going, keep the legacy going, because most of us know who come from ethnicities outside of America. Our cultures are rich, our values and our morals are based on our cultural values, and those we bring with us. And it's our responsibility to share it first within our own families and then sharing it within our community. And with that community sharing experience, hopefully you've touched someone or you've touched another organization where they see the value in what you're saying and they say, hey, can you help me do this? Or can you help me do that? And be that liaison in order to merge various cultures together. And that's what AAPICC, Asian American Pacific Islander Community Commission, is. It's to marry all the different cultures that we have here in Las Vegas, bring it to the forefront, and have representatives of each ethnicity be that voice or advocate for their communities and working together for a common goal. One of the goals we have here is to build a community center. Why don't we have one? You
Yes.
know, why don't we have a place where we can house a cultural festival and not pay the big bucks that it would require to use one of the corporate or conglomerate properties here in town? Because it costs a lot of money, like Margie said, Ho'olaulea is the Las Vegas Hawaiian Civic Club's major fundraiser of the year. But we've had to look at, is that all that defines us? Where is our priority culturally is first, but then sharing our culture within a festival setting is important. and having that platform for other cultures to share their culture as well. That's important. And that's what Margie's seen when she came to our festival. So this year, and then we met, it started at Lorenzi Park, which is in the city of Las Vegas. We was there for almost 20 years. And then we moved it to Henderson. And the reason we moved it to Henderson is they gave us a deal that we cannot walk away from. And although people say, well, it's so far out there, but their goals are really simple, just like ours. What they told us for our festival is, you make it free, the venue's free to you. Where can you find that in Las Vegas?
I was able to attend.
Yes.
The Holalea at that center, and that's where I seek out the Las Vegas Civic Club, and I went to look for you, and that was the first time. And I'm glad you mentioned about. I think if we are all together, the AAPI population, community leaders, and population, we have a bigger voice.
Yes, we
and
do.
You mentioned about the center, and I'm thinking about back in Hawaii, we have a Filipino community center.
Right.
And that is the venue that all the even parties, baptismal, birthday parties, and it's a revenue making, because then you can have other community members use the facility, and that's how it's maintained the viability of the center. And it's not impossible to have the similar AAPI community center, right? So maybe that would be between the three of us, and gather more people, and maybe we can rally. Now with the politician, with the election, we can have a bigger voice and say, we demand to have an AAPI community center where we can gather and share our values, our heritage with the incoming and our young generation, because the young generation are our future.
Right. And we need to mentor them. We need to go ahead and help them on their way. Keep their viewpoints, because every new when the younger generation comes in, they bring things that we haven't even thought about. They're technology savvy, whereas we are just a little bit. And when people question, well, how come you don't know how to do this? My kids tell me that all the time. I tell them, were you here when the microwave was started? No. Were you here when TV was created? No. You take it for granted. That's the beginning of technology. And if you can just, bring it back to basic concepts like that, and then they bring it forward, but not let them lose the cultural values that are intertwined within that concept, it makes it so much more worthwhile, not only for them, but as role models for the generations after them, the future generations. And that's what legacy building.
Yes, we are in the same track. I just wrote down role model. We have to be role model for our young generation. Our young generation can be creative and innovative, but at the same time, the I didn't want to say older generation. Our generation has to instill with them the values, so that we don't lose it. I know we lost the monopoly. When you grab your elder's hand, and then the elders, or the elders. How do you do that now, Margie?
It's a show
to
of
show
respect.
Yes. So we don't have that now. Or in Hawaii, we hug, aloha, hugging.
Right.
Not right now, though. Okay, listeners, do not hug anybody. Social distancing.
Actually, there was another value that I'd like to share with you. Every time when we went to family gatherings or community gatherings, everybody says, feed the kids first. Actually, you're supposed to feed the kupuna, the older generation first. Because why would you do that? You honor them for the paths that they've already created for us. And after they are fed, then you feed the younger generation. So it's like in progression. You feed the older generation first, And in that way, you honor them. You feed the younger one because you say, okay, now take a look at how we've done this cultural practice. And
Mhm.
remember that, so that when your time comes and I'm the older generation, you feed me first before you feed the younger.
It's so similar
Okay.
to Native Americans because when I attended a powwow in South Dakota, when I was in my fellowship, in the powwow, the elders gets to parade around the field where they're doing the
Yeah.
powwow, and
Yes.
and then when they found out that we are nurses, they invited us to march with them, going around the field where they're doing the powwow. It's an honor. So it's similar, with the other ethnic
Right.
minorities. Our cultures and our traditions have similarities. Honoring our elders and guiding and being role model for our younger generation.
Yes. Yes.
So between the three of us, we can rally and try to get that AAPI, Asian American Pacific Islander Community Center. How's that?
Yes. Yes.
It's an
Oh
endeavor,
yes.
but then it's not impossible, right?
Yeah,
No.
in the commission right now, the AAPI commission, after we're done with this report, actually we will already be discussing about doing already a feasibility study on the center, and also doing a resource conference. So it's not really our term ends in June next year, but it doesn't mean that the center will be built. No, but at least we will hopefully pave the way towards the building of a center. So hopefully we will be able to successfully do that by the end of our term. So yep. And
Maybe between the three of us with our organization that we are
mhm,
leading, me being
mhm,
the founding president for the AAPI of Nevada,
mhm,
maybe it's something that I can put on the agenda. What could be our role to put a place or create a foundation
mhm,
for advocating for our own very own AAPI community center. It is not impossible, but it's not going to happen right away. It takes a
mhm,
lot. It takes a village to
mhm.
build that
Yeah.
center.
Mhm.
Yes.
Yes. Yes, it
Yes.
does.
So I'm
Yes.
so happy that we have this. I have both of you who can share with our listeners about advocacy and aspirations and visions for our AAPI population here in Nevada. And I know this broadcast is also going to reach out Nevada and beyond. So time flies when we're having fun. That's my cue.
Yeah,
Yes.
and
Yeah,
too bad because of this the pandemic. Now that it means that all the planned celebration for the Asian Heritage Month will not happen. So we're good. It's good that you're doing this, even though it's still a very good thing that you through broadcasting. We're still able to celebrate it. May not be the really colorful live celebrations that we used to have. Actually, even on the Filipino community, there was supposed to be, although it's not happening May, it's supposed to happen June of the Philippine Independence Day. It was supposed to be a really big celebration that's gonna happen. Now it had to be canceled. So because
but
of that,
the spirit of celebration lives on.
yes,
They can take away the big parties and food and
yeah,
celebration. They cannot take away the spirit. The
yes,
That's
spirit, the
correct.
spirit of
yes.
aloha and the spirit of of Filipino spirit tradition. But time flies when we're having fun. I enjoyed talking to both of you. I learned a lot during our conversation. And thank you, Dorinda, for joining me tonight. Thank you, Margie, for joining me tonight. And as
Welcome anytime.
always, PHLV
Mahalo.
Radio for being our partner to reach out to our community out there, Nevada and beyond. So all you listeners, remember every Monday is Healthy Monday. Aloha.
Aloha.
Oh, hi.
The Asian American Pacific Islander Nurses Association of Nevada has just brought you Healthy Mondays with AAPINA of Nevada.